Folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for York region. That's for Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham for week ending April 27, 2022. I want to talk to you first, though, about things that are happening below the surface. You don't really, as the public, you don't see this that's going on, but let me tell you what we're experiencing as real estate agents. You know, back just a couple months ago, January, February, what we'll call the peak of this current market, lots of people thought that investors were bidding up prices, and lots of people saying, oh, you know, people looking to buy houses to live in as shelter shouldn't be competing with investors. Well, I got to tell you, our investor clients, and let me just clarify, when I say investor, I don't mean the new investor or somebody that you know, maybe one house just kind of starting or been investing for a year or two. I mean seasoned investors that have either owned multiple properties or have owned multiple properties and have lots of experience buying and selling. So seasoned investors. Our seasoned investors, the clients we've worked with, they weren't the ones competing back in January and February. They weren't the ones bidding up prices. There were a few properties that they wanted to try to buy, but they had their price, and that's their price, and if they can get it at that price, great. And they were looking for the properties that weren't selling. I know it's hard to understand in a peak that there could have been some properties weren't selling, but there were some, for whatever reason, their home had some issues and wasn't selling. And those are the kinds of properties the investors were buying. They weren't emotionally attached to the outcome, so if they got it at the price that made sense for them, they would buy. It was the end user in most cases that fell in love with the property or had this mentality of fear of missing out, and if we don't buy now, prices will be higher, and those are the ones that were bidding up the prices. So let's just make that distinction first of all. It wasn't the seasoned investor. The market's softer now. So fast forward to today with a softer market. And it seems, I can tell you for a fact that those buyers that were lining up to bid, lining up on offer night just a few months ago, where they were prepared to overpay maybe, or they were prepared to really, really bid up the price. Well, now the prices are softer. You figured they'd be more excited, but they seem to have stepped aside, and it's like they're watching the prices go lower and lower, and when they could buy now at more favorable prices, they're not. The seasoned investors, though, I'm getting more calls from them now. Now they're kind of coming back into the game and saying, hey, we know some people have bought and now bought at the peak and now have to sell. We know there's going to be people that are in sellers in stressful situations right now. We know there's some opportunities now, and prices are better than they were a while ago. So it's those seasoned investors that are starting to jump back in. And you're not going to see that just from my charts of seeing sales and, you know, and listings and so forth. You don't know who's buying, who's selling. But I'm telling you, we are seeing more seasoned investors now jumping into the buying or sell, and not the selling so much, but more into the buying side of things than we saw just a few months ago. I thought I would share that with you because you're not going to know that just from reading the charts or knowing what the numbers are out there. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to reach me to talk about your real estate situation, buying or selling, it's really simple. Below this video, in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. This way, I'll know ahead of time and I'll make sure my schedule's organized so we can talk to you about whatever's on your mind. Go Leafs, go. Get excited about that. I know we took a little bit of a loss yesterday, but we're going to bounce right back. Go Leafs, go. That's all I'm going to say. I know there's a bunch of Leafs lovers out there. There's a few haters, but hey, what can you do? Not everybody's perfect. Let's get into the numbers. So, gains have been wiped out. Which gains am I talking about? I'm talking about the January, February gains, what we call it, as far as this current market goes, that was the peak. Those gains are wiped out. I'll show you the numbers now. I'm not talking about last year's gains or the gains before that, so let's just keep things in perspective. The most recent gains of January, February are gone. That's in the history books. Here we have Vaughan detached prices broken down for a year by week. Last week, for week ending April 27, we sold 31 detached properties. Sales are extremely low, especially compared to last year. Sales are really low. Only 31 detached properties. We're supposed to be in a spring market. Sales are supposed to be really high. It's not happening. 31 detached properties were sold. 12 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price came down from the previous week and the week before that. It's now sitting at just under $2 million at $1,978,000 for the average detached property that was sold in Vaughan. And you can see prices went up. Here we go, January, February, 2.2 mil or so. We're now sitting at under 2 million, and it seems like we're just heading downward. And if it continues to go, that's one thing. If it stables, well, those peaks that we had in January, February are gone. Compared to last year, however, those gains aren't gone. We're on this week sitting at 19% higher than last year's average sold price. The week before it was 10% higher. The week before it was 26%, 12%, 25%. I can go on and on. Bottom line is that the orange line, which is this year's average sold price, versus the blue line, which is last year's average sold price, we are way ahead of last year's average sold price. Median price is 23% higher than what it was last year at this time. However, median price, just like average sold price, from the January, February peak is coming down. So prices are dropping, and I am as neutral as possible, I believe, when I say these numbers, yet I get accused of, I want it high, I want it low. It doesn't matter to me what the market is doing. It's just that I need to have the right strategies to help represent my buyers and sellers properly in whatever the market is doing. So I'm not biased one way or another. No such thing to me as a good market or bad market. It's just the market. And right now, prices are heading down. They're still higher than last year. That's all I'm saying. When we look at sales, of the 31 that sold, 61% sold at list price or more. We used to, at the peak, be at 86, 84, 91% selling at list price or more. It's now 61%. The week before that was 55%. So it's not as competitive as it was before. When we look at year-to-date sales, January 1st to April 27th in Vaughan, we're 31% less sales this year than we were a year ago. So sales are way down when we compare year over year. Listings are 16% lower, and listings over the last several weeks have been dropping. We listed 88 last week. Months of inventory came down a little bit. It's now sitting at 1.8 months of inventory. So it's still a strong, healthy market. Demand and supply, there's still an imbalance. There's more demand than supply. It's just not as intense as it was earlier in the year. Let's look at Richmond Hill. Sold only 21 properties. 21, that's it. In all of Richmond Hill, and I'm only talking about detached properties. 5 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price is now sitting at $1,925,000. And just like before, average sold price has been coming down. The January, February gains are gone. Compared to last year, we're sitting at 4% higher than last year's average sold price. Median price is 7% higher than last year's average. Let me go back. Median price is 7% higher than last year's median price. When we look at sales, 57% are selling at list price or more, way down from where we were in the mid 80% selling at list price or more, and we're 30% less sales year to date than what we were selling last year at this time. Listings are down by 15% year to date, and months of inventory is sitting at 2.5. As far as the York region area, so I'm talking about Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham. As far as those three cities that I talk about, Richmond Hill has the highest months of inventory, sitting at 2.5. Let's look at Markham. We sold 34 detached properties in Markham last week. 11 were at $2 million or more, and average sold price came down to $1,888,000, which is a big drop from where we were at the February peak. So $1,888,000, which is still 12% higher than what it was a year ago. Median price is 19% higher than what it was a year ago. Year-to-date sales, however, wow, we're 45% less sales in Markham this year than year-to-date last year. So January 1st to April 27, you compare year over year, 45% less sale. I can't stress how, well, that's just a huge, 30% with the other cities is already a lot, but 45% is so close to half. And 47% are selling at list price or more, which is a far cry, so much lower than 80s and 90s where we were at our peak earlier this year. Listings are 23% lower year to date, and when we look at months of inventory, we're sitting at 1.6 months of inventory. Let's look at condos for York region. We sold 52 condos across York region. Average sold price is now sitting at $756,000. You see it coming down from the peak. The gains of January, February, gone. Is that dramatic when I say that? Gone. We're still sitting though at 13% higher than what it was a year ago. Median price is 17% higher than what it was a year ago. So if you're comparing to January, February, it might look bad. Prices are lower. If you're looking to buy, you're excited about that. But compared to last year, prices are still higher. I mean, median price is 17% higher than what it was a year ago. This is for condos I'm talking about. Sales year to date are 20% lower, and 58% of the sales sold at list price or more. Listings are up from the previous week, and months of inventory is sitting at 1.4 months of inventory. Quick summary, months of inventory across the board for York region has come down, so things got a little bit tighter, but prices are also coming down. Look, this is the market we're in. It's confusing for a lot of people. If you're looking to buy, you're looking to sell, that's fine, and nobody can tell you whether it's the right time to buy, right time to sell. It depends on your particular set of circumstances, and whoever you choose to work with should be a professional consultant that is asking you the right questions to help you decide whether buying or selling makes sense. Thanks for watching. Go Leafs go, and have a great day.